everyone, this is In-Game Arts. We're doing another boxing and breakdown of the demo. This is Mages of Mystralia for the PlayStation 4. Now this is a physical copy made from Limit Run Games, so getting a copy will not be the easiest. To start things right off, there were no updates available since the making of this video, and the game comes with all the recent updates on disc all the way up to 1.03, which is very nice to see. Now, getting right to the game, this is made off the Unity engine, which, by my experience, Unity engine has always been kind of buggy at moments, and I want to jump right into that topic right there. I have had the game crash on me 3 times, 2 times right at the start of the game. I haven't even played the game and it crashed twice on me, and as well as the game locked up on me when I got done talking to a person. I could not control my character. There was also many other bugs in the game that I experienced throughout the entire game. Nothing that prevented me from progressing, but still was notable and should be mentioned. Now, these bugs, other than the 3 I mentioned, the rest of them were dealable. But it is saddening to see so many bugs and such a interesting and well-made concept of a game. I think the game was actually quite enjoyable. I found myself really addicted to it. I couldn't put it down. I think graphically the game is gorgeous. The music is beautiful to boot, as well as the story is not the most interesting, but it plays its part. But mostly the big part is just the spells, the creating the magic and everything like that. It's very rewarding every time you get a new ruin or new spell that you can be able to create, and it makes you, every time you progress, you're always wondering what else new spell you can create, with so many variations here and there. Now, you will find your ones that you were custom designed, let's say the ones that you know are going to be the main ones you can use, but it still has an interesting concepts here and there. You can make some interesting spells. Most of them are going to be used for like puzzle solving, which the game does have some pretty good puzzles in there as well, and it felt very rewarding when you finally solved them. There's only one of them that I didn't really enjoy, which is this one you had to play the song this bird sings back to you. It just felt really out of nowhere, and it went out of tune with the bird. It made no sense. I actually had to go online to figure out the puzzle because I just couldn't figure it out. Other than that one, I was able to solve all the rest of them, either by doing as they told me how to solve it, because you can spend money to like in-game currency to get a hint, or by just, brute forcing it, getting a more powerful spell later and solving it that way. Which is kind of cool. Like, if you can't solve it now, even though you have the right abilities, you can solve it later with a more powerful ability once you get better as a better mage, which I thought was kind of cool. You weren't strict to one way to do it. You could think a little bit outside the box and find another way to solve it, which I've done that actually a few times with it, which is even better. I like a game that has multiple ways to solve a problem than trying to say you have to solve it one way, that way, and no other way. It feels real rewarding for the player, personally. Now, combat-wise, the game is not the most interesting in combat, but it's there. It plays its part, other than a few little gripes here and there, where the enemy has an ability sometimes where they can freeze you or knock you down or prevent you from casting spells altogether. Now, this isn't a problem. The problem is you can get hoarded with enemies, and when you get frozen or knocked down, you could find yourself constantly getting back up and then knocked down again, or frozen and then getting back up, knocked down again, and rinse and repeat. It can get really cumbersome and really annoying really quickly. I just wish they would have a little bit fine-tuned the combat a little bit, but I think this was like a first-time little project here, but I think they did a pretty good job, and I would really like to see a sequel from this. Maybe not use the Unity engine, or just maybe get a little better using the Unity engine, because due to the sheer bugs and cumbersomes I can see with some of the designs that went around with it. Because to give you an idea, Limit Run sometimes seems to not put the overall size of all the patches on the disc, on the box, telling you how big how much space it's going to take up. Well, on the back of the box it says it takes up like 7 gigabytes, but when you actually install it all together, it's 13 gigabytes. So that gives you an idea of how much space or how big these updates were from 1.03. You're talking about nearly doubling the game in patches. So that gives you an idea of how broken the game when it first launched. So I can only imagine the backlash on that, and probably even hurt the game's sales at the beginning. But what we have here right now actually works pretty good. I am really proud to have it part of my collection. It was really fun. I did everything in the game. I 100% the game. I really enjoyed it. It was really fun. It's a good little game to pick me up and play. It's a good game to just have a little simple time. It's not about name guns and blazons and stuff like that or gore or anything. It's just a nice little kids game, but with some interesting puzzle solving, with good art, with as well as good music. You couldn't go wrong with it. Other than maybe some voice acting in game would have been nice, but I understand for an indie developer, voice acting is one of the higher expensive side of game development to get a quality voice actor. So I understand you couldn't find it at that moment, but hopefully, like I said, we can encourage them and get maybe a better sequel in the future, or maybe a better, bigger idea with the whole spell casting, creating, and everything. It just was very well done, and I encourage them to do for future releases from them. I will try to leave links down in the description if you're interested in a copy, but remember, it is a limit run physical copies, so getting a copy will not be the easiest. If you want a recommendation, yeah, I had to say this is one of the higher up ones I would have to recommend in somebody's limit run collection. I personally really enjoyed this game, and I'm really glad I picked it up. So, thank you all for watching. Hit that like, subscribe button if you want to see more videos from me, and I will see you guys in my next episode. Bye-bye!
For centuries, Mystralia's inhabitants led happy, prosperous lives in the valley, ruled by mage kings. Individuals who exhibited the gift for spellcraft were raised by the royal family. Until the troll plague. Commoner, noble, none were spared. Not even the royal family. The crown was passed to a young, untrained mage. Aetius, first of his name. He dabbled in forbidden uses of the gift, which consumed him. The Mad King destroyed entire villages. He had to be stopped. Thus began the Age of the Marquis, where magic is forbidden. But once every decade, a child still is born with the gift.